Hi there, it's Thursday and I can see my camera's just slightly smudged. Let's see if I can get something to open it. The power of a tissue. There we go, that's much better. Yay, welcome Bev. I can see you've just logged in. It's Thursday, it's 12 noon. And we are talking about amazing chemical constituents again today. We carry on with our series every Thursday. It is my absolute passion to share with you why natural solutions work. And obviously the science behind why they work is really something that's close to my heart. So thank you to all of you that are joining in. As you're logging in, please say hi so I can give you a shout out. Analu. Yes, I think that's Analu. I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly on Instagram. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you on today. And then as the rest of the people start logging in, as Facebook and Instagram start notifying people that I've gone live for my regular weekly session, I would like to, if you do have some Cyprus, for example, or Siberian Fur in your stash at home, please open it. Take a nice deep inhale so you can just get some of that fragrance that we are going to be talking about today. I'm going to open both of mine because they smell quite different. Ooh, that one was interesting. And there's also some in black pepper, so let's open up. Yeah, you definitely smell that one particular constituent we're talking about today. So welcome, my name is Dr. T. Tanya Uester. I'm from my page, Botanicamy, Alchemy of Soothing Botanic Ingredients. It is 12:02, so I'm going to get started with today's lesson. So welcome. We are talking about Delta-3-carene. Yes, that is a very long word, I know, but it is a monoterpene alkene. And if we think about what the monoterpenes specifically do, I can see Catherine's just logged in on Insta. Welcome, welcome. If we think about what these beautiful monoterpenes do, these are the things that we find in forests, for example. There's a lot of trees, pine trees, for example, that have got a lot of these monoterpene fragrances to them, if we can call it that. Yay, Catherine is saying happy birthday again. Maybe I should just say that. Yesterday was my birthday. It was the most amazing day. It's the day of the year where you feel comfortable and not guilty with just lounging around, basically. I really enjoyed it. And today, actually, I'm wearing a very unique piece that was gifted to me by someone very special in my life. It's all about a brand of sustainability, upcycling. So yeah, hope you enjoy the ensemble today. One of my gifts as well. So thank you so much if you're joining today. And thank you if you reached out to me yesterday on my birthday. It was an absolutely incredible day. So let's get started. Oh, thanks, Analu. I can see you're also saying happy birthday, as well as Quibus, who's just logged in on Facebook. Really, really nice. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Bev. Yeah, Kim. Kimmy gave it to me. So really exciting. We're talking about forest today because that's what this fragrance is summed up for me. So the alpha pinenes, the beta pinenes, the limonene, the carenes, the myrcenes, the alpha T terpenes, the beta phallandrenes, all of those are molecules which are associated with that fragrance when you walk through a forest. So when you go forest bathing, lots of scientific research for the brain, for the emotions, specifically on that. I can see Anna Sophia has just logged in. Welcome, welcome. We, of course, call that Shinrin-yoku, right? That Japanese word. And there's a lot of research showing how incredibly beneficial and supportive it is for your body. But basically all of those molecules, those monoterpenes are what we're after. And monoterpenes are 10 carbon atoms and 16 hydrogen atoms that are bound together. And when we talk specifically about the monoterpenes, they are usually incredibly high in antioxidants because the chemical structure has got a lot of double bonds, which gives it the ability to be a really good scavenger of free radicals. So incredibly supportive for the body, especially if you want to help protect it against free radical damage. So the monoterpenes, when we use them aromatically, they have very unique and pleasant fragrances. And I've got to say, I mean, I just had 3 oils now that I was sniffing here away just before we started. And all 3 of them have got this particular Delta-3-carene in it, but they smell completely different. And that's because usually those coming from the forest areas, all the trees, They usually share a lot of their chemical constituents. In other words, they can have the same supportive benefits. But what you need to look out for is the top 3 chemical constituents that are in that particular oil at the highest concentration is usually what's going to come through the strongest, which I find quite exciting, because that means even though they all share similar chemical constituents, they can be supportive for very specific emotional as well as physiological support in your body. So the monoterpenes, as I say, are very high in antioxidant power. They really pack a punch. And aromatically, we use them because of their very pungent fragrances. They're very pleasant, but they're also very strong, potent. And then topically, we usually use them for their antioxidant benefits, and some of them are really cleansing as well. So very beneficial for skin and the tissues. So that means the weefsel in Afrikaans, your muscles, the skin layers, all the kinds of stuff that your body is made up from. And then internally, again, because of the high antioxidant power. Now here, we've just got to be careful which ones we're going to be using internally. Yes, the brand matters. It matters whether your oil has been tested and whether it's been regarded as a food-safe oil and otherwise can be used internally without causing harm or side effects. But more than that, not all of these tree oils should be used internally because some of their chemical constituents that are in that whole makeup, remember it's all a whole oil, we're not going to be using just a particular chemical constituent. There are some of them that are less advised to be used internally compared to others. So we'll be talking about 2 oils today, for example, or 3 in general, but those 2 particularly that are high in the Delta-3-carene, or the 3-carene as it's also called isodeprene, by the way. Lots of words and names and synonyms for it. But 2 of these oils, one can be used internally and one cannot. And it's because of the chemical constituent makeup, the entire chemistry of that particular oil, in other words. So specifically 3-carene is a bicyclic monoterpene, and I didn't get around to drawing you a chemical structure today. But bicyclic, remember from all my previous sessions, today is episode 11, so you'll get this from the previous episodes as well. Always remember the replays are available on my YouTube channel. It's just Tanya Jooste, the YouTube channel, and it's linked to my Botanicamy brand, obviously, and you can also watch the replays, but you can go and view the previous 10 episodes to listen when we talked about bicyclic and monocyclic. And bicyclic, 2 ring structures with those carbons and the hydrogens. So the Delta-3-carene specifically, it's got that very sweet, pungent odor, and I can best describe it as fir needles, sort of like a musky earth, even like a mushroomy. Sometimes you can smell that in there because there's a lot of fungus in the forests, if you can imagine that. Damp woodlands. That's basically what sums up how the Delta-3-carene chemical constituent itself smells to you. Now, this chemical constituent on its own has got a lot of potent benefits. So it's analgesic. In other words, it can relieve discomfort. Anti-infectious. So here we're looking particularly at the fact that it's got really good bactericidal properties. It also is very astringent. So it's a really good chemical constituent to have when you're, for example, making a face tonic or a toner, because it firms tissues, organs, and even reduces secretion. So in particular, one of the oils we're going to talk about today, Cyprus, which has got the Delta-3-carene in it, is really good, particular for oily skins, because it decreases secretions. All right, so really good for skincare then when you're going to be using it topically. And then, as I said, it's got bactericidal properties as well. Andres just logged in. Welcome. Good to have you on today. So when we think about the Delta-3-carene, it's very rarely the main constituent or the dominant constituent. And I think that's got to do with the way that it interacts with the rest of the chemical constituents in an oil. And it's usually associated very nicely with alpha-pinene, which is obviously also that very piney, resiny kind of fragrance that you're going to get when you walk through a forest. Alpha-pinene, of course, also being a monoterpene. So when we talk about the Delta-3-carene in industry, for example, it's very often used for as an insecticide. There's quite good research showing that both the Delta-3-carene as well as the alpha-pinene, both of them separately, but also combined, very supportive when you are trying to reduce weevils. Now, I don't particularly have weevils in my cupboard at the moment, but this time of year, especially in Pretoria, we have these moths. not good when you've got them in your storeroom cupboard. And there's actually other oils which take care of getting rid of them. Laurel, for example, but in particular, the Delta-3-carene is very effective against weevils. So if you are someone that carries a lot of stuff in your storeroom cupboard or in your spenskas because you bake a lot, for example, either always keep your flowers and things in the freezers, or you can have one of these static aromatic diffusers like a piece of wood, or even some of the very nice ones that now come out at Christmas time, and just dot some of your Cyprus, for example, and Siberian Fur, which we're going to talk about today. Dot that onto those and put that into your storeroom cupboard or into your spenskas, and see if that's going to be supportive as an insecticidal specifically against those weevils that we don't want around when some of these things become old. So Delta-3-carene is not just good for insects or taking care of them. It's also very beneficial for anti-inflammatory support, very antimicrobial because it's got the bactericidal activity. It's also anxiolytic, so it has the ability to reduce anxious feelings. Do you ever feel stressed when you walk through a forest? I certainly don't. In fact, it makes me really calm and really love life, all right? So really very supportive there. Also has sleep enhancing effects, and that is what I'm going to be focusing on mostly today, because this weekend coming up, I have a training course that I need to attend, and you all know I love my sleep. I really understand the benefits of having a really good quality 7-8 hours every night. It supports my immune system, my adrenals. It's the time our body takes to heal itself, because yes, we are programmed to heal ourselves, but you need to do that during the sleep phase. So this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, I'm pretty much going to be offline during the day because I have training that's happening in Las Vegas time. That's a 10-hour shift, right, in time. And because I'm not flying there, I think to get the brain to realize that you're actually there when you're not there is going to be really tricky. So there's a couple of natural solutions that I'm going to be trying over the next couple of days. I'll also have a friend that's going to be helping me with certain of the circadian rhythms, as well as lymph drainage and those kind of things. By working with certain organs that are active during a certain part of day, you can actually acclimatize your body to think or mimic that it's in that particular time zone. So I'm looking forward to that session later. And then I'll let you know how my natural solutions have supported me in this radical shift that I need to take between today and tomorrow to get me into that time zone so I can actually stay awake through the night, but also awake enough for my brain to be able to take in all the information that I'm going to be getting. So wish me luck with that. But that is exactly why I started looking into specifically the Delta-3-carene, because there's quite a lot of research showing that it has the ability to enhance targeting GABA receptors. So there's a certain receptor with the GABA system, which is called benzodiazepine or benzodiazepine. I'm saying that correctly. Now, that name might ring a bell if you're someone that takes medication quite often to support good quality sleep or to help you to fall asleep. Now, it's actually coming from what is actually called in the body, and when it works with that particular receptor, that's when it actually supports you to fall asleep, for especially those people that are insomniacs, for example. Andrea, I can see that you've just logged in, but it's a girl's face. Intriguing. Andrea Rousseau, please let us know who you are. And then looking at this Delta-3-carene, there's actually a study there's many studies, not just the one, but the one particular one that I've looked at is that it's actually performing, the Delta-3-carene itself is performing as well as these over-the-counter, now I shouldn't say over-the-counter because they're prescription medications, they usually schedule 3 or 4, over-the-counter medications that we do get prescribed by a doctor that you can go and get at a pharmacy, which is really good to make us sleep. But unfortunately, obviously, there's quite a lot of side effects that come with using those medications. And that's why there's so much research going on to develop hypnotic options, which are coming from a natural origin. Delta-3-carene is one of them, which is really amazing because it actually performs as well. Now, this is a name that we all, we're very familiar with, right? All of these medications, so zolpidem, for example, is one of them. Diazepam is one of them. And these are really great when you are trying to force sleep because you're sitting in a certain situation and your body needs that rest. But if you are one of those people like I am, very sensitive to certain medications, I get a lot of side effects. So here's a natural alternative, and I'll definitely be letting you know how that goes for me through the weekend, because there's a couple of natural solutions that I'm going to try. The pharmacokinetic and the pharmacodynamics of using Delta-3-carene is obviously still under investigation. It's not like there's very large-scale clinical trials that have been performed yet. That's definitely still necessary. But using it aromatically and topically is going to already be very supportive and calm everything down. So when we look at these essential oils that contain the Delta-3-carene, the ones with high concentrations, for example, are Cyprus and Siberian Fur. Now, both of these you can think walking around in a forest. They are going to give you that musky, that very calming, that very that Japanesey kind of scientific research where they talk about the forest bathing, right? So just conjure that up in your mind. And then emotionally, let's look at specifically Cyprus and Siberian Fur. So Cyprus, it's actually called the oil of motion and flow, more so because it's actually really good for emotional flow and being in the flow, but also in your body because it's really good for the circulatory system. But if we look at the emotional side first, stagnant energies that are brought on by emotion, so these are energies that get stuck, especially in the heart and in the mind. That's usually where you feel the contraction or the denseness, I'd say, especially when things are becoming stagnant and you're becoming emotionally stuck and you feel like you cannot move forward. So this is particularly relevant when you're a perfectionist. It's something I deal with on a daily basis, okay? So if you're someone that's easy going, easy with the flow, very adaptable, you probably already have a lot of this in your body and you don't necessarily need to reach for the Cyprus, but this is something that I really do need to reach for quite often. And I have it in the diffuser quite often too, because of the supportive benefits physically for my body, but also emotionally. So if you are rigid, tense, over-striving, then this is definitely going to be the oil for you. So it's going to help you to step out of your own way, because let's face it, most of our blocks come from ourselves, right? Being in our own way. So this oil will help us to step aside and move into the flow of life with a little more ease, shall we put it that way? Because there are some of us that really still struggle with this kind of scenario. The Siberian Fur is for working with aging and perspective, family history, those kind of scenarios. So it addresses the general healing from the perspective of the mature. So it helps us ease difficult transitions specifically. So for me, change is a difficult transition. And it encourages individuals to focus on finding meaning and purpose within a new chapter. And let's just think of this year and what's happened and what's been going on around us. And this December, particularly with regards to the constellations and how everything is moving around us. If you look in the astrology side, there's a lot of people, me included, that need to get rid of a lot of and purge of a lot of things that are unnecessary. And I think this is something that is being shown to us very clearly with regards to what's going on in the last 2 years. We cannot carry on like we used to. We do need to let go of certain things. So Siberian Fur and Cyprus in a diffuser emotionally are going to be incredibly supportive for you. And if you're one of those lucky ones that import from the UK like I do, I also have black pepper, which has also got the Delta-3-carene in it, which is really supportive for that kind of emotional benefit too. So let's look at black pepper. It has Delta-3-carene between 0.01% to 21%, depending on who you're sourcing from, where it's grown, what time of day it's sourced, for example, the soil conditions, the climatic conditions, they all play a role on the overall chemistry of when that particular oil is now being distilled from the plant material. My particular batch that I have right here, I obviously take that batch code at the bottom of the bottle. Yes, I need reading glasses by now. But at least the reading glasses are there, right? So I can go to a website called source2u.com because my oils are pharmaceutical tested grade. So I can go and get the lab result for this particular batch of oil. And mine has 13.59% of Delta-carene in there, Delta-3-carene. And usually you would reach for your black pepper when you are looking for the antioxidant support again, because remember it's an alkene, very high in double bonds. So very high scavenging activity, but it supports healthy circulation when you're going to be using it. It also aids digestion and it enhances food flavor. Who doesn't like some black pepper on their food? I certainly do. Body systems, in other words, that are finding really good support from using black pepper physiologically is the nervous system, the cardiovascular system, and the digestive system. When we switch over to Cyprus, if you would like to use the Delta-3-carene that you find in Cyprus, there's obviously a lot of other benefits that come with this oil because of the unique chemistry specifically of Cyprus. But it's in Cyprus, you get it between 7 to 30%. My particular batch that I have here today, I am on that source2u.com website, which is the APRC that basically tests this oil as a third-party laboratory. And mine has 19.48% Delta-3-carene in it. So it promotes vitality and energy, but at the same time, it soothes and calms. So it's not going to energize you and give you like a caffeine kick, right? That's not what we are talking about here. The energizing and the revitalizing is definitely not that energy boost, right? If we can just work how those wordings work in together. But it promotes vitality and energy. It can be used Cyprus topically and aromatically, right? This is not an internal oil. So this is one of the ones that we shouldn't be using internally. And it relieves anxious thoughts. So it really soothes that overactive, I'm not going to put that in a word. I hope you saw that from my face, right? Also really good for a workout if you apply it to your skin and your muscles before you do a workout, because it increases circulation. So it's definitely going to decrease some of the discomfort that you may feel. Really good for calming the emotions. It improves the appearance of your skin, especially if you have got a high secretion level, in other words, oily skin, going to be very beneficial. And then it can also be used as a natural deodorant. Cyprus has got a very, very strong, very potent, it reminds me of something now, and when I smelled it before I started the session, it accessed the limbic brain and it went back to a memory, and I can't put my finger on it right now, but it will come to me. So that's how you would use your Cyprus oil that has also got the Delta-3-carene in it. And then if we move over to the Siberian Fur, also very similar constituents, but because the three major ones are quite different, smells way different compared to the Cyprus, right? So the Siberian Fur, my particular batch has got 11.74% of the Delta-3-carene in it. Helps balance emotions and soothes anxious feelings, all right? And it's because of those monoterpenes and those alkenes that are in there. The Siberian Fur is very supportive for the musculoskeletal, the nervous system, as well as the skin. And in particular, the joints, so cartilage, supported really well by using Siberian Fur. So if you're a yogi like I am, and you sometimes do find some discomfort in your wrists, for example, because you've overworked a certain area, Siberian Fur combination with frankincense actually really supportive for your wrists. So the woody scent is very pleasant, and therefore it's incredible in a diffuser. And when you're going through difficult circumstances, keep yourself grounded by using Siberian Fur. So again, putting it in the diffuser and applying it under the feet. But this oil can actually be used internally for its antioxidant power as well. So definitely one of those ones that you can try, because it has the Delta-3-carene in it, to be used internally, for example, if you're going to be going after that, how to support the GABA receptors for good quality sleep. All right. You can also soothe skin irritations, for example, by applying it with a carrier oil. I can see Audrey's just logged in. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you on. If you want to see the beginning, remember, always catch it in the feed again, or just go and watch the replay from the start in my YouTube channel. Whether you've spent the whole day doing deep cleaning, for example, running a marathon, chasing after kiddos, or even cats, in my situation, it's really nice to massage Siberian Fur with some carrier oil or a really nice lotion, luxurious lotion, into your body. It's going to be very supportive for the muscles, and as I say, the sort of connective tissue areas, very supported by Siberian Fur. And yeah, that's basically my story about these three particular oils that have got the Delta-3-carene in them at I would say an average concentration. I'm not going to say it's the main constituents. Delta-3-carene is not a prominent chemical constituent in any of these oils. It's always very nicely balanced in combination with the other chemical constituents that are in there. I believe there's also a small concentration in black spruce, for example. So you can see, I just talked about the ones with the highest concentrations today. So you can definitely see that the tree oils definitely have these, the Delta-3-carenes quite prominently with other essential oils or other chemical constituents, I should say, all together. So really hope you enjoyed today's sessions learning about the Delta-3-carene. Remember that forest bathing, that's what you're going to get in combination when you're going to be using these essential oil. And I'll let you know how they go this weekend and whether they are going to support me with trying to sleep during the day so I can work during the night. I'll see you all next week, Thursday. I'll just check the dates, but I'm pretty sure most people will only go on leave after next week. So I'll probably still have a live session for you to come and learn some more next week, and I look forward to that. Really good having you on today. Thank you so much. Cheerio.